And welcome to another episode of Straight Talk. So let's jump right into a lot of the issues that we have to cover today. Some are older, some are new.
And we just got through the powwow weekend. It's our 19th Echoes of a Proud Nation powwow on the 20th anniversary of 90, which is really what the whole thing was all about. Was a way to, it was basically a rapprochement with the surrounding communities to sort of reopen the doors and build more positive relationships that had been damaged by the events of the summer of 1990. I think it came off quite well.
And it was nice weather too. So.
Yeah.
Nice weather. The only thing, it rained, man, what a storm on Friday.
On Friday.
I didn't even bother to say, go to the Iroquois Social. I admit it, I'm guilty. But it was torrential. The downpour was torrential. And the impact was felt all the way through Saturday. The ground was still muddy.
Yeah, it was.
That was the only kind of down thing
That
about it.
was pretty gross.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wear my sandals anymore.
Oh, I know. It was, and plus it was very humid. So at some points that was a little uncomfortable. But on the whole, though, there was a good turnout of vendors. Apparently, good turnout of people. One thing I noticed this year, I wasn't here last year, but between last year and this year, they raised the level of the dancing area.
Yeah, they did.
And I asked about that, and I'm sure everybody knows probably already. But the problem is that in between the springtime, ATVs, vehicles were tearing up the ground. So I decided to raise it up, and so it raised about 18 inches up.
Right.
And it's kind of a nice kind of look to it. The water will tend to drain off there. And
Well, it's. I think that was still an issue this year because it was spongy still. And that's the drainage. It probably needs a little bit better drainage.
Yeah.
But overall, I think that everybody got to see. The ones that couldn't really see it, it's up higher, so it's a little bit better. I was there on Saturday, and it was hot.
Now, one question I had was the elders usually were on the south side of the dance circle,
Right.
okay, by the grand entry thing. Were they still there? Because the only thing that struck me is that somehow or another the canopy didn't quite seem to offer a great deal of shade to the
You know,
folks sitting there.
I don't even know. I was there, and I walked, and I usually. I don't like to spend a whole day, especially because it was really, really hot, and I had company from the city that
Plus, you
came
have
in.
your little kids.
Yeah, so I usually go and I just walk around and see the people I haven't seen for a while and hit all the vendors, and I bought this shirt there. But you know, and all the things that you can't usually get during the year, and you get there, and I like, they have a lot of different things that you don't normally see, and that's what I usually, then I eat, then I usually go home. So I really didn't look around.
This was the first year that both Lynn and we didn't actually work
usually
at our
at a
own
booth.
booth.
Yeah.
The store has a booth, and but this year we just let the employees do that, and it allowed us for the first time to sort of just kind of move around and enjoy it without the stress of having to worry about that. But all told, kudos to the organizing committee, the powwow committee. They, year after year, they come up, they do the work, they volunteer their time, and it happens.
Yeah, they do a good job too. You know, it's a lot of work, and way before, and then they're probably still there. You know, making sure everything is done and cleaned.
And again, right away, you got to start for the next year.
So your sandals, you lost them, or they're no good anymore?
You're still
Yeah.
up there in the mud?
They got really muddy. It was pretty nasty, but I enjoyed POW even though it was really hot and all the mud. I got my walleye nuggets. And they were
I got
delicious.
stopped a couple of times from people that had watched the show, and they're like, "Did you get your nuggets yet?"
I also got a really large pail of lemonade. That's the first time I saw that.
Yeah.
A pail.
Yeah, it was
pail.
like a sandcastle pail.
Really?
It was amazing.
How much was that?
$9
Really?
or
That's
something.
good.
$9.
For a pail of lemonade.
Pail of
I heard a
lemonade.
It
pail
was
of
well
beer.
worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially
Well-
in that heat.
In the heat.
Yeah.
But we had a cooler full of sodas, so
You were good.
we were good.
You were
We were
good.
good. Anyways.
But yeah, so once again, it was a very positive feeling that I had. What I like to do is I like to walk around and meet new natives from other places, and especially with the vendors, and see like the different types of artwork that they have on display, and different things like that. And there was a new vendor there from Bahaba, Maine.
Bahaba?
Bahaba, Maine.
Bahaba, Maine.
Bahaba, Maine. And so I was really pleased with that because he had some beautiful jewelry, different types of jewelry.
Really? I missed it.
Yeah, really? Yeah. And then, of course, there's always the few that come from Augustasne that we're familiar with, and we get to catch up and stuff like this. It was really good.
I had gotten a call last week from a friend of mine from Cape Breton. He said, I'm going down to the powwow to sell jewelry and stuff. I said, yeah, okay. And I hadn't seen this guy since maybe 97 or 98. We used to sit on this policing committee together. And he came down with his girlfriend, and he had some interesting things. It was sort of like melted glass, and he had like the Inukshuk in it, and it was different. It's not something that you would normally see, but they said that they did well. They didn't, I didn't get to see them a lot because they were there, and then they had gone home. But you meet people that you haven't seen in such a long time, and through Facebook actually.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's the whole other thing nowadays, is the kind of contacts that are made through Facebook. It opens up this whole other community, little communities, sub-communities, and so on.
I've done a lot of traveling over the years, and I met a lot of people, and I always lost contact with them because phone numbers change and different things like that. But it seems like now with Facebook, everybody's like Googling everybody or looking up and finding them, and the next thing you know is like, man, I haven't seen them in such a long time, and it's interesting, to say the least.
For me, when it comes to Facebook, I just prefer to think of it. Everything that I put on there should be able to be seen in a newspaper. That's the way I kind of.
If it's going on there, I should be able to talk about it.
Right.
Fireworks. Anybody get to see the fireworks at least?
No.
I hadn't a choice. I'm right there.
How was it?
They were huge.
I didn't.
They were
see
huge
them,
and they were loud.
Were they?
At first, I thought they were kind of like gonna be like a dud.
Yeah.
And there
JoJo's
were a
pretty
few,
good.
but there was some pretty good ones.
JoJo's pretty good, and I think he even has like a professional license to do that. And I get to see a show often, like around 9:30, 9:45, because his place is near mine, and I don't know if he's trying to drum up customers, but he's always shooting up fireworks. Sometimes I just go sit on my front porch and watch for 5-10 minutes. And
But just hope and pray that nothing ever happens to that thing that involves that new fire truck, because that whole section of town could just go like completely up.
Where, in the island?
Yeah.
But it was good overall. There was a lot of people from out of town, in town. It's funny, my mother and I mentioned that when we were walking around, there's all these, we know they're Ungwehue. They look familiar, but we don't know who they are. So we know that there are probably a lot of relatives from out of town that, come to Ganawagi, visit the Ganawagi Mohawks and come to the powwow. So that's always good.
And it's funny because we always want people to come and see our culture and community, and yet there's still people in our community that say, God damn, this person is not native, or walking by my house, they all look crazy. And and when we go somewhere, we go to back alleys, we may not go into somebody's yard, but we do the same thing, and police don't get called, so it's fine. Only here.
We need a tolerance. It's all about tolerance.
And with that, we're going to take a short break.